Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. It is Thrawn's Revenge again, this time not with a mock video. This video will be kind of a review and then comparison of the newest TIE Fighter that LEGO has released, the $40 one. Just some intro stuff to start off with. I will be streaming tomorrow, probably some LEGO building on Studio, so if you're interested, go check that out. Another thing, I realized my intro video is borked and still says Thrawn's Terminal. I'm just gonna leave it as is. I think it's fine. When I make a new intro, I'll change it, but until then, I'll just deal with what I have. So to start, instead of looking at this guy, let's take a look at the set itself first. So set number 75300, 432 parts, $40. We're not going to look at the minifigs because the minifigs don't matter. I'm less interested in the minifigs and more interested in the build itself. So I built this model on stream, and it went by fairly quickly. I like the wings that they worked with this. I like these pieces right here. I thought these were very interesting. The controls are very different from the last couple of TIE Fighters we've had. The way it opens I thought was really cool. You know, it's very similar to the other TIE Fighter, the Han Solo one, but the connection points for it are different. So it's the same front connection, different back connection. So we'll take a look at this back right here. This model, yeah, it went by fairly quickly. I think it's a very competent model for its price tag. The sloping is pretty good, although not as in-depth as some of the other ones we've gotten. Much better than the 2012 TIE Fighter, for sure. Spring-loaded shooters is standard. I didn't put mine in there because you all know what those look like and how those work. Yeah, it's a good set. $40, you know, 432 pieces. It's a good place for kids. Now, the main reason I wanted to talk about this TIE Fighter, yeah, that review was really short, but that's kind of the point, right? Let me push this guy to the side real quick. Thank you. Is the comparison and the discussion of LEGO doing this, right? Is they're taking their sets that normally would cost more money and they're making them smaller and cheaper. So if you compare it to the Han Solo TIE Fighter, right, this guy, set number 75211, 519 parts, $70, right? So for a kid, if you're a kid, right, it is easier to afford this than it is to afford this, even though it's the same vehicle. The size is more lore accurate for this one, right? But a kid's probably not gonna care about your lore accuracy and is gonna care, can I play with it? And they have the same play value, right? The spring-loaded shooters are the same. The cockpits open roughly the same way. The only difference is size and price. This part number for this one is 519 parts, so the part difference isn't that high, but the price difference is $30. And I think it's an interesting discussion to be had of, is this the correct direction for LEGO? I think for their target audience, for kids, this is great. Kids are greatly going to prefer a cheaper set that does roughly the same. Yeah, sure, the new Slave 1 set that's coming out, $50, a fraction of the size of the original. Yeah, it's not going to have as many play features, but for a kid, it works perfectly fine. So, as for AFOLs, though, right, I don't think we're going to be happy. Like, yeah, the kids are super happy with the smaller size. It does roughly the same thing. It's a fraction of the price. For AFOLs, I'm concerned whether LEGO will do this permanently or whether this is temporary, right? Is the main reason, as the interview with LEGO that they found out, is the Cloud City set, the big UCS Cloud City set, had the small Slave 1 in it, and people really liked it and thought it was really cool. That's great. I agree it's a very cool set, and the design is very cool, and it does what it's supposed to do in a small size. But if you have the money you're gonna prefer this because this is nicer, right? Like, this is a good value, but if you have the money and the money doesn't matter, you're gonna want the lore accurate size, or as close to lore accurate as possible. So, right, with the new slave set, it is smaller, but does that mean slaves from now on, the Boba Fett's ship, will they be that size forever, or will they continue to switch between these? And that's something that I'm more concerned about, is that as we move on, will we continue to see LEGO go in only this direction, and only certain sets will be this size? For example, Moff Gideon's ship is coming out, $160. It's a large set. I don't think you could make that set this size. You cannot do it with this. To have, the play functions and the design and a good aesthetic, you can't do this with that size of a ship. But with other ships, Y-Wings, X-Wings, that kind of stuff, this makes sense. But if you are an adult and you have the money, will they only be doing this, right? Will this happen later? And that's something that, there's no way for us to know other than wait and see. As long as LEGO is able to switch between the two, it's like, oh, here's the set for the older people who have the money and would like the properly sized, more complicated builds, and here's the set for the kids who want it cheaper but just as fun. As long as they're alternating between the two, I think it's perfect. If they're going with just this from now on, like your X-Wings, your Y-Wings, your TIE Fighters will be this and not this anymore, that would be really upsetting for the community, I think, and upsetting for me as someone who wants it to look as accurate as possible. Yeah, I could go onto Bricklink or Rebrickable, find a vehicle that's lore accurate and pay the additional, $100 or something to get all the parts, but I much prefer getting the set from LEGO itself. I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts on it are. Post some comments down below on what you think of, the differences, both X-Wing, the Slave One, and the TIE Fighter. Whether you think LEGO will be going back or whether they'll be alternating, and the future of this kind of set style of making them basically a chibi. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you on Monday for the next mock video. Hope to see you Saturday for my stream. Please check that out. Like, comment, subscribe, check out my Instagram, my Twitch, all that good jazz. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.